I've always said I'm okay with the Mueller investigation. I think that's fine. Have an investigation. If if his campaign actually colluded with the Russian government, then to hack emails or distribute Hillary Clinton or Podesta's emails or the DNC's emails, that would be a scandal. So if Mueller has that, let us know. So far, there's been no evidence of that. Despite what Rachel Maddow says, there's no evidence yet of collusion between the Trump campaign and the Russian government to hack the DNC, hack Podesta, hack your brains, and distribute those emails. It just doesn't exist. That doesn't mean I like Trump. Of course I don't like Trump. He's terrible. But you could not like Trump, but also provide facts on Russia. So Aaron offered a lot of facts, and then, oh my God, today, this story in the New York Times came out that is, I don't even know how to describe it. It's so ridiculous. Russian 2016 influence operation targeted African Americans on social media. A blizzard of activity on Instagram that rivaled or exceeded its posts on Facebook, according to a report produced for the Senate Intelligence Committee. The report adds new details of the portrait that has emerged over the last 2 years of the energy and imagination of the Russian effort to sway American opinion and divide the country, which the authors said continues to this day. So right there, you're already hearing it. You know, they swayed public opinion. You know, they swayed American opinion to divide the country. That's the notion that's being put out there, folks. That's the notion that's being put out there, that somehow the Russian government has been able to literally brainwash you to not want to vote for a neoliberal, corporate, bought-off, warmongering candidate in Hillary Clinton. They just through posts on Facebook, through posts on Instagram, through fake Facebook groups, they brainwash people. And I'm not trying to act condescending. I'm just telling you what they're saying. This notion that they are brainwashing African Americans, besides being utterly racist, is utterly preposterous. So basically, this, and I'm going to get more into who actually authored this report, because of course the New York Times doesn't care who authored it. They'll take it from a homeless guy in the street. They'll take it from anyone. If it says that people are being brainwashed by Russia as an excuse for Hillary Clinton losing, they'll take it from anyone. But I think this, and I tweeted about this earlier, I think we're at a really, really dangerous point in this McCarthyism 2.0. I really do. It's just so stupid. It's stupid. The whole notion that Russian trolls or emails going on, there is no empirical data. I fought with someone on Twitter today. There is no data. There is no exit polls that show that Russia swayed voters in Wisconsin, in Michigan, in yes, I am sick, so show me some love. I just took Dayquil, actually. There's no data. There's no exit polls that show Russia had even a 2% impact on the election. And I could tell you because while I was at the Young Turks, reported on the ground in Wisconsin. I reported on the ground in Ohio. I reported on the ground in Pennsylvania. I reported on the ground in Ohio. I covered, and I got the therapy bills to prove it. I covered, I think, between 40 and 50 Trump rallies. Most of them actually were in those states, in the Rust Belt. So I was there. These idiots on Twitter were not. I was there. Neera Tanden was not. I interviewed, and I'm not bragging about this, I literally still require therapy for it. I interviewed hundreds of Trump supporters in 2016 on the road. Many of those videos went viral because of the Trump supporters' stupidity, frankly. I would put down the very, very limited personal money I have, not status quo's money, but the very limited personal money I have. And I would tell you, Russia had absolutely nothing to do with why voters in Wisconsin, voters in Michigan, voters in Ohio, and voters in Pennsylvania voted for Donald Trump. I could also tell you that Russia had very little to do with why 5% less African Americans came out for Hillary Clinton versus Barack Obama in 2012. 5% less African Americans came out for Hillary Clinton. Okay? 5% less Latinos came out for Hillary Clinton as compared to Barack Obama. 6% less aged 18 to 29. Aged 18 to 29, so the millennial voters, came out for Hillary Clinton as opposed to Barack Obama. So that's 5% less black people, 5% less brown people, and 6% less millennials. I am telling you why they did not come out. Hillary Clinton was not a good candidate. Forget what you even think about her political viewpoints. She was not a good candidate. She inspired a lot of women, yes. She inspired a lot of older Americans, yes. She did not inspire millennials. She did not inspire, especially millennial black people. And she did not inspire a lot of Latinos. And she did not convince them that they needed to come out. Do you really think 5% of the African American population didn't come out because they saw stuff on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram from Russia? Or 5% Latinos didn't come out in those states because they saw stuff from Russian trolls? It's besides being racist and insulting to African Americans, there's zero data. There's no data that backs this up. If you actually read the exit polls of the 2016 campaign, which I did, if you read the exit polls, trade, NAFTA played a big part in those states on why they voted for Donald Trump. Remember, Donald Trump said he was basically going to get rid of NAFTA. Immigration played a big part in those states because Donald Trump is a racist, an anti-immigrant. I mean, let's call it what it is. And the fact that he portrayed himself, even though he was faking it and lying, he portrayed himself as an anti-establishment, take it to the banks, take it to the puppets. Millions of people in Ohio, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania since the late 1980s have lost their jobs and their factories have closed down, and it's been sold to China and Mexico, in large part because of what Bill Clinton did and Hillary Clinton supported. That's the truth, and that has nothing to do with Russia. And I could tell you, because I was at these rallies, Trump had these people at NAFTA. You know how Jerry Maguire says, he had me at hello? Or not Jerry Maguire, but the Renee Zellweger in Jerry Maguire says, he had me at hello. Trump had them at NAFTA. This is not my opinion. This is what I actually saw on the road at these rallies. I was there. I was there. I covered 40 to 50 Trump rallies. So let me read you a little bit more of this ridiculous story. So not only was it the black people that they went after, apparently Russia targeted the Bernie Sanders supporters too. Quote, active and ongoing interference operations remain on several platforms, says the report produced by New Knowledge, a cybersecurity company based in Austin, Texas, along with researchers at Columbia University and Canfield Research. And wait till I explain to you a little bit more about New Knowledge. Because, of course, New Knowledge is basically a bunch of hacks from the federal government. One continuing Russian campaign, for instance, seeks to influence opinion on Syria by promoting Bashar al-Assad, the Syrian president and a Russian ally in the brutal conflict there. The New Knowledge report, which was obtained by the New York Times in advance of its scheduled release Monday, is one of two commissioned by the Senate committee on a bipartisan basis. They are based largely on data about the Russian operations provided to the Senate by Facebook, Twitter, and other companies whose platforms were used. The second report was written by the Computational Propaganda Project at Oxford University, along with Graphica, a company that specializes in analyzing social media, blah, 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 blah. So, let's get to the part about Bernie Sanders. Of 81 Facebook pages created by the Internet Research Agency in the Senate's data, 30 targeted African American audiences, amassing 1.2 million followers, the report finds. By comparison, 25 pages targeted the political right and drew 1.4 million followers. Just 7 pages focused on the political left, drawing 689,045 followers. While the right-wing pages promoted Mr. Trump's candidacy, the left-wing Russian pages scorned Mrs. Clinton while promoting Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont and Jill Stein, the Green Party candidate. The voter suppression effort was focused particularly on Sanders supporters and African Americans, urging them to shun Mrs. Clinton in the general election and either vote for Miss Stein or stay home. Oh, dear God, Mother of Moses. Make it stop. Can you make it stop? Because I can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore. I mean, Flint is still poisoned almost 5 years later. You have Republican legislatures in Michigan and Wisconsin literally stripping the democratically elected governor of Michigan, newly elected governor of Wisconsin, stripping them of their powers because the Republicans lost the election. You have water contamination spreading to North Carolina and other states, which I just showed you yesterday. You have minimum wage increases that were voted on being rolled back in some states. You literally have ballot measures that are being passed by you, the voter, being overturned by state legislatures across this country, like real attacks on democracy. Yet we continually need to hear about the Russian operation that brainwashed America into not voting for a corporate warmongering neoliberal. And by the way, can I just make something clear, because I'm going to be attacked, and I already am. I don't like Donald Trump. I would like Donald Trump to lose the 2020 campaign. I don't want him impeached because, frankly, I think Mike Pence is a lot worse than Donald Trump. I think a lot of these people saying impeach Donald Trump, they need to go to Indiana and talk to some people because Mike Pence is a lot worse than Donald Trump. I think Donald Trump is very dangerous. I think Donald Trump is an authoritarian. I think Donald Trump is racist. I think Donald Trump is dangerous for America. And I do not think you're going to defeat Donald Trump in 2020 with more neoliberalism. So 2 things could be true. You could really be against Donald Trump. You could be willing to report critically on Donald Trump. I don't report on Donald Trump as much as other people do because I'm not in this just for clickbait and bullshit. And I report on other things because I think I'm not adding much to the party here by being the 250,000th person this hour to report on what Donald Trump tweeted.